$399 for a smartphone. Some may think it's a lot. Others may say it's priced perfectly. Some might even argue it's worth more than what they're asking. Me? I'm somewhere in the middle. While you get amazing features and a premium leather back, is it worth getting the 2025 Moto G Stylus, or are you better off snagging the 2024 version instead? So I obviously paid $399 for this phone, and this is the unlock model. If you have a carrier that offers it, you may be able to snag one with a steep discount. Headphone jack, MicroSD card support. Honestly, give it a round of applause. This may not seem like a big deal to you, but for a lot of people, it really matters. In fact, I can argue it's another reason this phone stands out from other budget options, like the Galaxy A36. Let's hit the downside first. I'm still on Android 15 with the security patch from September. Some people with this phone already have the Android 16 update, but I'm speaking from my experience here. Software updates are still a problem for Motorola, but besides that, we have a pretty awesome phone. There are a lot of positives with this one. It feels solid in the hand, it is made mostly of plastic, but it definitely doesn't feel cheap. You have the power and volume button on the left sides. On the right, you have the microSD card and SIM tray slot. On the bottom, you have a lot going on. USB Type-C, the speaker grill, the headphone jack, and of course, the stylus. Up top, there's an additional microphone as well as speaker. And with having all of that, it's also IP68 dust and water resistant. Around the front, we have Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. This is also pretty tough, as it's military standard compliant. So, in theory, it should survive a few drops more than your average phone. By the way, you also get NFC and Bluetooth 5.4. On the back, we have the now famous leather finish, along with a dual camera setup. We're looking at a 50 megapixel shooter using a Sony Lytia sensor and a 13 megapixel ultra wide. Around the front, we have a 32 megapixel for the selfie. The cameras are awesome on this device. Photos come out really well. Maybe it's because of the new Sony sensor, but I'm a big fan. Same thing for the selfie cam. Great photos. I actually recommend using the raw photo mode to get the best shots. During my testing, I noticed the photo quality is much better there. The heavy AI processing actually discouraged me from using the auto mode. Max resolution for video is 4K 30 frames per second, and that's for both the front and rear cameras. Video turns out good. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Let's talk about this screen. It's a 6.7-inch AMOLED display. The resolution is 1220 by 2712, which makes it Full HD+. You get 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR capabilities, and a max brightness of 3000 nits. Under the display is an optical fingerprint scanner that works pretty well. The YouTube and Netflix lovers have no worries here. Colors are sharp and vibrant, text is super clear and crisp, and it should be with a PPI of 444. Hearing audio from playback won't be an issue either, thanks to the dual speaker setup. That area won't be a problem. If I have a negative as far as the display, it's that the night mode is pretty weak. There is no way to adjust the intensity, which is a personal preference, but worth noting. Overall though, the display is probably the best thing about this device. At least, it's my favorite thing. Powering that display is a 5000 mAh battery with charging speeds up to 68 watts wired and 15 watts wireless. Now, the battery conversation has been a mixed bag. Some people have reported bad battery life and some have said it's good but not better than the 24 Stylus. From my experience, I agree with it not being better than the 24 model. The first few days I can say I was a little worried, but after extended usage, I don't have a problem with it. Getting through a day isn't an issue, but even on the rare occasion I don't, I always have a charger with me. Part of the reason for the battery draining quickly for other users likely has a lot to do with the display pushing a higher resolution and the lack of the LTPO technology. Depending on how you use your phone, results will vary, but I can confidently say most users shouldn't have a problem. Out of the box, you have Android 15. Motorola has said you'll be getting up to 2 major OS updates. Like I said in the beginning, I'm still currently on Android 15. As far as the update goes, we'll see. I'm hopeful. It's a familiar, near-stock Android feel, which is a plus. You still have the chop action for the flashlight and the twix action for the cameras. Network connectivity has been phenomenal. I'm currently with Visible Wireless and I've yet to have any dropped calls or failed messages. One thing to note too is when using the speakerphone, the volume is great. The actual stylus is pretty much the same as the previous model. Motorola said they've reduced the latency, but personally I haven't noticed a difference. You still have the same features like taking notes, screenshot, and sketch the image. Nothing much has changed there. Under the hood, the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 and Adreno 710 paired up with 8 gigs of RAM provides a smooth experience navigating the OS with day-to-day usage. Multitasking is a breeze. For a budget processor, you'll be surprised with how well it handles. Gaming is pretty good as well, but with higher demanding games like Genshin Impact, I recommend using the lower graphics settings for the highest frame rate possible. You get 256 gigabytes of storage internally and that microSD card slot to expand it. Here are the Geekbench 6 and the 2.2 benchmark scores for those who care about the numbers. I think the Moto G Stylus 2025 is the best one to date. I've been using it as my daily driver for almost a month now, and I don't plan on switching. I think this phone is the peak of spending a little to get a lot more. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.